Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Exoria. So, since last episode, I have been very busy on here. You'll notice around here, this is where the fruit trees were, but there's nothing. There's nothing left here. There is a couple things left here. For the most part, everything is moved. I have not moved this whole setup for the cactus. I just haven't had time to build out a room for that and set that up and everything. I spent the better part of the weekend. Of course, it was my birthday weekend. So I did go to my dad's for my birthday, and then I went out with my mom for lunch and, you know, did a little bit of running around. But for the most part, I was working on this for most of the weekend. Because we had kind of reached a point within Exoria where it was going to be hard to expand and build out without more space. And especially as we started approaching like automation and stuff like that. So most all of this is moved. The only thing that's not moved is the cactus setup that's over there. And then I haven't moved that portal, which I have other portals, so it's not... I haven't actually set one up yet at the base. We're going to set that up today because we're going to be working on some Botania stuff. But aside from that, everything is gone from here. And I did move the waystone back down here, and it's just called World Spawn. I'm also cleaned up all those other, like the Roots buildings and the Botania buildings and the portals that were out there that we'd come across. I went ahead and cleaned all those up. And got waystones. We have 6 extra waystones right now. One of them did fall into lava. So, I would have had 7 extra, but that's alright. So, I've been very busy with that. I will say, before we go over there, I did kind of go pretty easy with this build. I mean, this isn't the planet where we're going to build our extensive build or anything like too fancy. So, I actually went fairly straightforward. It's actually a cheap setup. The only blocks I'm really using for the majority of everything is cobblestone, basalt, chiseled in both cases, and then also Tyrian that's been chiseled. Tyrian being the most expensive, 8 smooth stone, and then a piece of iron per 32 blocks in this pack. It doesn't make 32 blocks of Tyrian per craft. And I also decided to go with a man cave style so that we wouldn't have to worry so much about the exterior. We could kind of focus on the interior, building that out and making it look at least semi-nice as we progress. So let's go ahead and warp on over there. I'm actually going to step outside the base. The portal actually spawns us inside of there. Out here I do have the water barrels set up, so they're starting to kind of refill. I used all the water that had accumulated for making bricks for, you know, clay, and I'll show you why that is here in just a minute. But anyways, it took me a little while to find like a mountain range that I wanted. So we are actually right over there is where we spawned in at. You can see I actually ran up around through here and finally found some mountains that I liked. So anyways, we'll go ahead and step on in, and this is what we've got. So you can see it's like Tyrian floors, and then I've got basalt, and I've got Tyrian on the walls a little bit to kind of add a little bit of brightness between that Tyrian and the cobblestone in the ceilings, because the basalt and the Tyrian is just too dark, you know. I'm actually started with a darker Tyrian on the walls, and I was like, no, it's just too dark. So for the most part, I'm kind of using the shiny plate Tyrian just to add a little bit of like brightness to the rooms, you know, because otherwise it's too dark. I've noticed that most of the blocks that we have access to at the start are kind of dark blocks. So anyways, over here on the left, this is the only room with a door, and that's because I had to put one. Because the concrete and the wattle and daub, these blocks, if I remove the door, they don't register as being a closed room. Because I guess it's too big, and it says, well, there's just, you know, it's not closed off. So a door kind of closes off this room and allows that stuff to work effectively. So over here, this is all just kind of a workshop area. We've got our furnace. I still haven't made any additional ones. Honestly, with my building, I've mainly been making a lot of smooth stone and then bricks and stuff like that. So really this furnace has been alright for this process. The mold crafting station, which I actually don't know if we'll ever use this again. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, we have all 4 of the molds. Then over here we have our crushing table, and right here, left click this, and this is actually a clear item frame from Tinker's Construct. It's just glass and glass panes to make these, and then I can just put these down in the wall. So I have the tools that go with the stations. They are, you know, easily accessible for them. And over here, this is ash brick, because what I've done, and this was brought up by Tyler on the Discord, actually, with the forestry charcoal, you know, with the loam, the wood pile. If you take a look here at charcoal, you look at charcoal pile, you can actually see there's recipes here, And the way we were doing it was actually really about the best that we had access to at the time, which is loam and woodpile. That gets you 13 pieces of charcoal and 3 ash per block that you put down. In stone is, of course, it's better at 15, but we don't have access to in stone just yet. You can see dirt's only 11, clay is 12, gravel is 10. But if you look over here, ash bricks are 14 and 3. So it's actually somewhat expensive because I built it out a decent size. But if you pop down here, this is all ash bricks. And then that last one just goes on the top. So this thing holds 75 wood piles. I filled this up one time to make charcoal. And that's mainly because I've been using a lot of charcoal to smelt, and then I've also been using charcoal to melt down metals. But it's just a little bit more effective. You know, one charcoal difference doesn't sound like a lot. The ash bricks, they're not terrible. They are somewhat expensive. It did take a lot of clay because it's 4 bricks of like clay bricks and then 4 pieces of ash per ash brick. So I think I went through, it was right below, I think I want to say 6 stacks of clay and 6 stacks of, yeah, I think it was like 6 stacks of clay or something like that. It was a lot. Over here is our cobblestone generator, just kind of tucked away inside of here. I do have a lot of cobblestone. I left the button pressed and just kind of AFK'd for a few minutes. It was about 10 minutes and built up a ton of cobblestone. And then I kind of kept it up as I was working on stuff because I did use a little bit of cobblestone in the ceilings. Over here, this is just where I ran out of Tyrian, basically. And I haven't made any more, so... And then we've got our casting tables. Up here, I've got this up here so that we don't have to worry about accidentally covering up the concrete or the wattle and daub. So everything should stay working. Oh, and by the way, I do still have the cactus farm chunk loaded. So that's still running and producing dirt. I just have to get it moved over to here. But over here we have ingots that are kind of leftovers, or, you know, what I have made. I don't have many made, but we're going to get that automated pretty quick this episode. At least the, you know, pulling stuff out, putting stuff in, that kind of stuff. So we'll be able to make metals a little bit easier. I did make a bunch of ore berries, which we'll go down there in just a second. Over here, this is all stuff that gets melted, basically. Mainly ore berries. I used up all the metals that we had gotten from the strainers and made ore berries with what I got, pretty much. And then this stuff is just stuff that I've been harvesting. So I actually don't have a lot of most of these, and I'll take you down there in just a second and show you. Over here we have our burner set up, and then crucible over here. We've got wooden barrels for making clay. I've got to set up some tanks to store water from outside and stuff like that. And that's if I run out of water, I need water, I can throw leaves in there and make water. Drying racks, and then over here, let me actually get a piece of wood so I can show you this. So right after last episode, I crafted this. This is something that I meant to craft as soon as we got iron, and it kind of slipped by me last episode. But an obsidian hatchet. If you use the obsidian hatchet on wood, look at that. It breaks it really, really quick, and you get 8 per. And then, of course, you can get, if you want sticks, 8 sticks per plank. I mean, wood goes crazy far. You'll notice I'm using dark oak. I'll show you. Dark oak, it just grows. It grows more wood at a time, and it's a lot easier to harvest. So I did switch over to dark oak from standard oak. So we're not really using the standard oak anymore. And this is eventually going to be stairs. I haven't made a chisel. I was thinking that I was going to have to make a chisel to do the grass, but I ended up having enough grass seeds for what I needed when I spread it by putting dirt, you know, over the pathways and just let it spread. So I haven't crafted a chisel as of yet. I'm out of grass seeds, but I don't need them right this second. Over here, this is eventually going to be our roots room, and I went ahead and put our stuff in here. So roots 2 stuff is in here. You'll notice I got a bunch of the books. It was basically 3 little buildings worth. And I was going to gather the thatch that was on there, but thatch is easy to make, so I gathered 1. Kind of a neat little block. Not for this base, but maybe in the future. And then over here we have, these are just vanilla flowers. And this one from Terraquis. Just the start of something. Over here, this is, whoops. Oh, they're still lit, though. This is strainers. So I haven't been running them, but there are strainers in here. So that's where our strainers are going to be put down. So I went ahead and the 2 strainers that we were using for chests, I went ahead and used those for setting up strainers. Now, I know you could put a piece of water right here. Actually run both strainers off 1 block of water, but I think this looks a little bit better. More what I was wanting, so I did put that. like that. And water is pretty much easy at this point. Over here, this room, also very unfinished. We're going to be working in here a little bit today, though. Some of this stuff is kind of dark, as you can see, but that's all right. This is Botania stuff. And I did dismantle one of the buildings, and then the second building, I went ahead and gathered up all the living wood that was there, just because. But we have 2 buildings worth of Botania stuff, and quite a few Black Lotuses, which aren't terribly useful in this pack. I did get to looking at Botania, because I was like, well, I'd like to make like an Agri-Carnation maybe this episode, and some things like that. But this is kind of a bummer in a way. A lot of the functional flora are gone from Botania within this pack. There's a very minimal amount of flowers that have any kind of use. And I think they did it because, I mean, there's still like the Jaded Amaranthus. We'll probably use that just because it's, you know, we can. Also like Hopperhawk, stuff like that. We're not going to be able to make this stuff right out because you need runes. And for runes, you need mana steel. And for mana steel, you need steel. Right here. So you need steel ingots. So we're not going to be able to make mana steel right this second, but I noticed there's not like an Agri-Carnation or anything. I don't know if they did it so to make up for the fact that you have like infinite mana. I'm not for sure, which is kind of a bummer. I kind of wish they would have not made it infinite mana and like left all the flowers in there. But if we step down here, this is actually the room on the right after entering. I mean, the bed's setting over there for right now. This is kind of our storage room. So we have, like, here's food items. And then here is seeds and saplings. Here is wood products. You can see I've actually got all the different turquoise fruit wood in here. And I'll show you how we're doing fruit. It's great. This is just kind of blocks. And some of these, I'm actually going to grab those because we're going to need them. And these need to go into the Botania area. I'll move them over in a minute. This is just kind of miscellaneous stuff. This is stuff like pieces and odd and end stuff. Then over here we have like gems, and then these are kind of like, I don't know, tool bits and bobs. But I don't know, just like crafting pieces and stuff. I've still got a little bit of sorting to do. Like this chest here is kind of a mess and everything, but over here, we've got 4 storage drawers. I did go ahead and craft 4 of them. And actually in this chest, you can see we've got a little bit of cobblestone. That's kind of overflow. We've got 2,048 cobblestone in this drawer. So we've got plenty of cobblestone built up. Then we have 354 pieces of dirt left. We have 2,081 ash blocks. And then we have 5,740 basalt. These do have gold upgrades in them, because these are easy enough to craft, so I did go ahead and put some upgrades because I just had so much basalt and ash. Ash, not too much over a base drawer storage, but basalt, definitely. And I used quite a bit of basalt for building, so it tells you how much I cleared. Luckily, Bane of Cobble, it works wonders, because you break stuff. I mean, like if you take a look here, I mean, it breaks it pretty quick. And you can clear out a room at a decent rate. There is one room down here that took a while. And that's because I had to clear it. I had to start from the top and clear down. And as I was clearing, I had to build it from the top down. Otherwise, it was going to be a headache to build. So I did kind of do it backwards, I guess. But anyways, we got some stairs here. I got to put chisel out some Tyrian stairs and put them going down once I get around to doing that. But if we step down here, to the left, there is nothing. This is going to be a room once we get it all implemented. And then over here, I've got pumpkins and melons just kind of growing down here, so they're kind of accessible without being in the way and not really taking up a whole lot of space for a farm. Water block right there, and it's 9 of each of these. I may put more down there. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not, because I think that's going to connect straight into a room from there. But anyways, over here on the right, this is the room that took a while to clear out because it's massive. It is very, very tall, and I had to, basically what I did was I dug my way up to the Y level that I wanted, which is pretty much, this is actually right beneath, that's why the floor in the entryway actually goes up a layer and is raised a little ways down, and that's because it goes over this room, because I wanted to make sure the dark oak had room to grow, so I had to like burrow my way up to the top, and then I cleared out like 3 high, and you know, the whole room, and then built it, and then went down 3 more, cleared it out, built it, down 3 more, cleared it out, built it, and then so on. This room took a while, but this is where our dark oak is cultivated. And I actually have a waystone here, so we can just kind of teleport from wherever we're at in the base to here, because there's a lot going on within this area. So I've got 8 dark oak trees planted, which is plenty. That's like, you chop all these down, it's like 7-8 stacks of wood, you know. And basically I'll just go through and I'll cut all the wood, and then I'll go through and clear out all the leaves, then I'll go through and pick everything up, because it's just piles of stuff throughout there. And then over here we've got wheat, we've got carrots, we've got potatoes planted. And these are all, they got water blocks in the center, right down there, and it's a 9x4 farm. So it's basically like half of a full farm, you know. Over here, this room's kind of nifty. I love this room, actually. We have rice, we have beets, we have peppers, and we have turnips. These are the, you know, the 4 that were on that second layer farm. The only thing I do not have planted here is industrial hemp. So I've got to set up industrial hemp, but that's going to come in the next room over. Is where industrial hemp will be set up. So that's the farms in this room. And then over here, this is all the fruit from Terraquis. So we've got oranges, we've got lemons, we got peaches. You can see what I've done is I've actually just sheared off the leaves. They work fine, just shear them off. And then I've got wood blocks down there. You don't necessarily have to have the wood blocks, but I noticed that if I break something, they started to despawn. So I did put the wood blocks down there, because the first bit of bushes I put down, which luckily it wasn't all of them, it was mainly this little side here: peaches, lemons, oranges, and apples. It was peaches, orange, lemons, and apples. These were the first, if you recall, they were the first 4 trees that we actually had planted that weren't coconuts and bananas, because those are special. I had these down here, and then I started doing some stuff, and I broke it, and then they all started despawning. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put a piece of wood down there just so that that doesn't happen. So I do have 2 blocks of each wood, and they're the actual fruit tree wood, just because. And then over here we have apples, we have cherries, pears, and then plums and mangoes. So that's all the base fruits. Those you can just shear, like I said, just shear the block, place it down, and it'll grow. Okay. Now the bananas and the coconuts, they're special. They're very, very special. Coconuts, the way that you grow these is basically what you need is you need a leaf block here, then you need 2 leaf blocks at the bottom. So basically you'll have like, if you have a leaf block sitting like right there, let's pretend that's a leaf block, then you would have to have a leaf block here where this basalt is, and then one right here, basically making a corner. It doesn't require any kind of wood. I do have wood there, and that's for decor and to make sure it doesn't despawn. And you only need the 3 leaves. You don't need, like, this leaf doesn't do anything, and this leaf doesn't do anything, and then the ones behind this don't do anything. 3 leaf blocks, and it'll grow coconuts. Okay? So you just have to have that little corner spot, and it'll cause coconuts to spawn. So just a heads up, that's how those grow. And then bananas, I've actually got these built up into the ceiling. If we pop up here, let's actually just go up through the top. These took a little while to get exactly right, because I was just basically in my test world trying to figure it out. Basically what you need is you need this little L structure. You need a piece of banana wood that has to go right back there, a leaf block on top of that, and then leaf blocks 2 out. And then, of course, give the banana stalk space to grow. The farther that it has to drop, the better, because from what I noticed, these banana stalks will just keep growing indefinitely. They grow crazy far. So I've just got these set up here, and then this block here is over the holes where the bananas grow out. And that's basically to keep it kind of clean looking down there. Also, each piece of banana wood will only support 1 stalk. So if I had this one and it came out to the left, it wouldn't do anything in one of them. So if there was a stalk growing here, would not start growing another stalk until this one was broken, and then it would basically, it would grow the next one on either this block or the one that, you know, that comes off to the left. This little setup is about as good as it gets. I mean, depending on how you want to lay it out, you could do like, you know, stalk, 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 and so on. And then you can tell that this design kind of carries on throughout. It's just a simple design, but it kind of looks all right, I think, and it's cheap. It's very, very cheap, so it kind of looks like almost like a research facility. And then back in here, this is the final room that I've got done. This is our oreberry room. Copper is done. I'm 100%, unless I just add more farms, which I don't think that I will, because this has proved to be plenty. Coppers are 100% done. So basically it is 30 oreberry bushes for each setup. So it's 10 across and 3 down. So copper there, and then I've got iron here, which actually I started with like 6 wide here. And basically just had this kind of, when I first started building out the base, I kind of just dug like tunnels, you know, where I was like, well, we'll put it roughly in here. And it was actually, I had it was about 6 wide after I got figured out exactly where I wanted the oreberries. And so I built these all out, and then I added an additional 4 when I decided I was going to make it 10 wide. Iron, I did focus on a lot. These two are the ones that are the most done at present. You can see they actually grow back decently fast. So it's kind of nifty, but I've got a little bit more iron to craft. I decided I was going to wait. I have enough iron coming in to suit my needs for making Tyrian, so I was like, well, I'm going to wait to do the rest of these oreberry bushes until we get metals, basically semi-automated, you know. Over here we have gold, and I do have 1 line of gold done and a little bit more right there. Then we have silver, and I have the first line done here. Lead, and I mean, even with this many oreberries, it's actually a decent amount of metals coming in. So it's not too bad. And then we have tin right here. And I left this open because I'm probably going to put a layer back here because there is aluminum and experience bushes. But at present, they are not craftable. I know aluminum is not even obtainable at the moment, and I don't know about essence berries, how those are going to work out. But so I did leave space so that I could just kind of build this out. And what I've done here is I've built a pathway. Like, the pathway is 3 wide throughout most of the base. Then I have basalt borders on each of this. And then basically the wall here, I've just got torches just lined up. So if you take a look with F7, I mean, you can see all of this little area could spawn mobs. Now, technically, if you're doing this in a place that spawns mobs, what you want to do is slabs. But in this dimension, there are no mobs. So I'm just like, well, we'll just do this then. And it makes for like a really nice little berry room. That kind of looks nifty, I think. Looks clean anyways. So, and it matches the design of the build somewhat. So, but yeah, this is pretty much where my weekend went. I needed space to kind of spread out and grow, and so that's what I was working on. But let's pop up here. I've actually, since I got that stack of copper, I've got enough to make. I've been just holding on to the copper until we had enough to craft out a full stack of copper ingots. So we are ready. We are ready to do this. So let me get right over here. And I guess probably the best way to do this will just be to shift it in. And shift and left click. And wait a while. And there we go. We got 64 copper ingots. Yeah. So I'm just going to throw it into there. We're at the point now where copper's like not a thing. Honestly, I mean, that didn't take terribly long to do. Because like I finished the ore berries on it. And I don't know, it took a little while, I guess. It's been a few hours since I started that, collecting all that copper. So that's the base tour. I've still got a lot of stuff to add. I mean, you can see there's a lot of unfinished rooms. There's no detail whatsoever. You know, I wanted to put iron bars around this and do a little bit of detail work, but I was just like, no. Not until we get metals and stuff semi-automated. I'm not doing iron bars. I refuse. And just little things like that. Oh, and I forgot to put this cobblestone back. Let me go do that. So it does take a little while to run this place. I mean, it's decent size with no speed boosts, but I'm going to add, teleports around and stuff like that to kind of make it a little bit easier. Also, we did complete 2 quests, and basically I completed them without thinking. First up, the ore berries. I mean, there's no reward or anything like that, but I did craft the final ore berries that we needed, so that did complete. And then also Magical Life, when I was clearing out the roots, which I actually cleared out the roots areas after I cleared out the Botania areas. So the Botania quest has not popped, the roots one has popped. And by the way, I decided, I know today was supposed to be SevTech, but I spent so long on this, I didn't get everything done in SevTech that I wanted to do, so I decided to do Exoria first, and then I'll do SevTech tomorrow and just kind of alternate it the way the schedule is. But here's a funny bug that I came across. So if you have like a tool, it only seems, the tools that break and give you back like a stick or something like that, if you have one of these clear item frames and you put that in there, it thinks that it broke. And I mean, you could technically get endless sticks. I haven't noticed it giving like cobblestone or iron. It mainly seems to just give the sticks. So it can't really be exploited for anything. I mean, really, sticks are easy enough to craft that it's not really OP or useful in any way, but it is just kind of a funny bug that I came across, because I don't think it's supposed to do that. But it thinks that they're breaking, so it gives you back a stick. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to do today. First up, I would like to, the Magical Life, I'd like to go ahead and just do this quest here. Because we got some console commands. When I finish this quest, you can see that there's like some console commands here. Basically, it unlocked bees. So all of this little area, it unlocked that. So that is available. But this, we just need a Pure Daisy, a Runic Altar, a Mana Spreader, and a Lexica Botania. So let's go ahead and just pull these out so we can finish out this quest. And there we go. Quest complete, another abandoned structure, and we unlocked some knowledge. Magical knowledge was unlocked. Okay. Also, I did craft this right here. This is a flower pouch. It just made, it's just 5 pieces of wool and any petal. But it makes collecting the flowers and gathering those up a lot easier because I can just store them all into this flower pouch. So I did craft that up as well. Okay, so since that quest is done, let's see, they want us to get 8 living wood, 8 dream wood. It says, I noticed that wood logs placed around one of those pure daisies will eventually transform, and I can repeat this process again or just leave them there to get even another wood variant. I wonder what I can do with this wood. And this was brought up in the comments. I was getting dream wood instead of living wood because in this pack, if you leave living wood down, or you leave the wood down, you know, you don't gather it fast enough, it is going to then turn into dream wood. So, for example, let me get... Actually, well, I've got all this dream wood here. I'll just grab that, and that's going to complete that quest. I'll show you how that works, though. And then next up, using mana, it requires gems. So we are going to have to get that up and going. But basically, if we have, like, let's put down some dirt right there, and then let's put down dirt right there. We're going to have our pure daisy setting here. So we'll have 2 of those placed down. And then I'm going to do, like, basalt around it. Okay, so if we place wood down right here, I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff going. And then I'm going to grab some stone as well, and we'll go ahead and start making some living rock as well. And we just give this just a minute to transform. Okay, you can see that it becomes living wood first, but then if you leave it longer, that's why I was getting dream wood, because I wasn't harvesting it as soon as it changed over. But it will then turn into dream wood. You know, it'll keep transforming. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this up. Oh, I can't use that. So just a heads up, it does turn into living wood, then it just turns into dream wood. So, all right, but anyways, to continue on with Botania, it looks like we're going to have to get gems unlocked. So, and I don't know, there's probably more quests after that, I would imagine. So the gems, oh, we got power up unlocked though, rubber. It says with that magical wood, I can make a special tree tap that's able to get resin from trees. Smelting the resin allows me to get rubber, which is needed for the first energy source that I came up with. Okay. I don't know, do we want to go with that first, or do we want to get into the hourglass, or... I think this leads into gems. Let's go ahead and take a look at this special tree tap. I'm actually kind of curious about this. And then we're going to get the hovering hourglass so that we can kind of like semi-automate metals, because I would like to get that. Okay, so it's Dreamwood Planks makes that tree tap. So let me get this. And let's go ahead and get this crafted up really, really quick. So there's our tree tap. And I'm not for sure, this is one from Electrostatics. And I'm not for sure if I just click a tree with this. Is that how this works? Yes. Aha! And you could just keep clicking the same spot and getting more resin. So I imagine if we just had like a piece of wood set up there, you could probably just keep clicking that piece of wood. But anyways, we got resin, and then we can smelt that to get rubber. So we'll go ahead and get that going, and then we're going to get our hourglass going. I would like to get power up and going here pretty soon, because there's actually a heater that we can make. This is something I was looking at, because right now I've got to like melt stuff down. And before I like just fully automate metals, I would like to get away from the burner heater, and so I don't have to keep smelting up items. And there is an induction heater that uses energy. And it's, I don't know, you need redstone and stuff before we can get it. And then, yeah, a lot of redstone, basically. And then Adobe, we'll have to get into brick making. But other than that, I mean, once you get redstone and Adobe going, it's not too bad to make. Because I would like to have, like, this crucible set up, and then probably another one set up there next to it. It would definitely help. So that I could just, like, fully automate metals and then have them, like, just feed them in and stuff like that. But okay, so anyways, we've got that going. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hourglass. I want to go ahead and just automate... or semi-automate the metals. So 2 weighted pressure plates and then a piece of glass. It's actually really, really easy. But you do need the magical knowledge stage, which we just unlocked. So let's go ahead and get that. And I've got Let's see, I've got pressure plates, because I made too many of them before. I've got one. Okay. Because I was going to make 2 backpacks. But I think I've got 2 pieces of gold over here, I'm sure. Okay, so 2 of these, and there's our weighted pressure plate. And then we just need a piece of glass. I did make a little bit of glass, but once we get this set up and like semi-automated, it'll be a whole lot easier to make glass. But we'll make this a nicer setup as time goes on, but right now we don't really have a ton of options. Is that not right? Okay, it just wasn't displaying for whatever reason. Okay. This is like all kinds of buggy, I think. I may have to just cheat one in. But there we go. Quest complete, rubber. So we did finish that out. I don't know. Yeah, see, there's not anything else I can do here from there. But rubber, I'm assuming the electrostatic generator is probably where we're going to have to go first. Okay, I just had to cheat in an hourglass because I can't get the craft to work for some reason. I'm just going to throw this stuff down. And there we go. Because I can definitely craft it, it's just not working. I guess, I don't know if it has to do with the fact because I just got magical knowledge stage or what. But anyways, there's our hovering hourglass. Yay! And if we take a look here, resource automation, that quest is done. Okay. So let's go ahead and just kind of semi-automate these metals. And what I want to do is, let's see, we can make a standard hopper now, right? I would like to use a standard hopper, I think. Yeah, iron plates for that. And then either primal core chest or standard chest. I'm going to use a primal core chest because I actually have quite a few of those built up. Or immersive craft chest. I've got 20 of them from clearing out those buildings and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and grab that. And then I also want a wooden hopper, and this is just for the output. And then we'll use just a chest. We'll be fine. Alright, so we'll get that heating up, and then we'll melt this stuff down. And what I want to do for the output on this is we're going to pull this up. We are going to put a chest down right here, and then we're going to put our hopper feeding into that chest. You can see my backpack just stocked one because I used it. We're just going to put that right there. Sorry, not right here. Can I not? No, I can't do that. I was hoping I could use carry on to move it. We're going to put it right here. My bad. So the chest goes down right there, and then basically whenever stuff gets pumped out of this, it'll get, you know, dumped out into the chest. Of course, I could just use a hopper and then a chest on top. That would probably be a cheaper route, but I think I'd rather have a hopper so that it looks a little bit nicer in this room. I can just put a hopper right there and then just dump the items into that hopper. So we'll let that stuff start melting down. And then, let's see, next up, I'd like to start moving towards the Botania stuff. There is some other stuff like the bees. I would like to get those up and going too. Yeah, let's actually start working on bees first. So for this, we're going to need tiny item output, small item output, tiny fluid input hatch, and machine controller. So let's take a look at this. Machine controller requires just a machine casing and a lever. That's a lot of copper. Just so happens we have a lot of copper. I think going for bees first, though, would be better because bees, of course, are very time-consuming. So if we get these things up and going, and you know, early on, and let's actually take a look just at that modular machinery stuff. So tiny item output, tiny item input. Is that all this takes? Is just one, yeah, one of each. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just craft up 4 of these. And then, let's see, how's this going? I'm just going to let all that iron melt down for right now. Because we can actually go ahead and, since we got the hovering hourglass, we can go ahead and automate the output part of things. So let's grab ourselves just, what do I want to do, 2 or 3 seconds maybe? And I'm going to do 5 seconds, I think. So every 5 seconds it'll try to output an ingot. I think that's reasonable because it does take a little while for it to cool those ingots. So I think this will work out nicely. And then what we'll do is we'll just put the hovering hourglass setting like right. For right now we'll put it right here. And then we'll put in our sand. And then here in a second, once that sand runs through and it flips, it should dump the iron out. There we go. And it's going to go into here and it's going to cool. And it's probably not going to be done by the time that, yeah, that comes around. But as soon as this cools off, there we go. It just got pulled out and dumped into here. And then it's going to try to pour another one. Now, if there's not enough iron in here, it will pour like that 96 millibuckets. But then as soon as there's enough iron in here, it'll pour out, you know, the rest of it. Okay, so now that that's going, and how much coal do I have in here? 4 pieces. Since we're getting this automated, I'd like to go ahead and just melt down all the metals. And we actually got our 5 ingots. I could have poured them out as plates. Probably would have been best. But then, oops, I didn't mean to break that off. I found that I actually like pouring them out and then just turning them into plates. Because it's a little bit easier to like reprocess than if I accidentally made too many plates, you know. If I made too many plates, then I'm kind of stuck with them. Oh, you can actually just right-click and not even put an ingot on there. That's kind of nifty. Okay, so there we go. Actually rotate this back. I always want to right-click there. And then we can craft up our hopper. So let's go ahead and do that. That. And then the iron. We still got 32 copper left over. Alright, so there's our hopper. And then let's just put this right up here at the top. And we're going to have it feeding down into our melting crucible, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a bunch of iron. And we'll throw all this in there. And then, what, 45? I want it to be divisible by 9. We'll throw all that in there. And it's going to feed into our crucible. And it's just going to keep running. Melting down that iron and everything. Which is good. It's awesome. Okay, so since that's running, let's go back to our modular machines. And that's semi-automated. I mean, there's more that we could do with it, with like the casting channels and have it like pumped out into a tank and all that. And that's something that we will do here soon. But that right there is just makes my life so much easier, because I can actually start kind of processing down all these ore berries, because I've just got a ton of these things. And I'll just keep an eye on it and refill it and all that. I keep doing that. I keep trying to hit something. I do that all the time. Okay, so let's get our controller. There's that. Then we also need, what, tiny item input. So this requires just a chest. And we'll go ahead and get that. And then we need a tiny, what, small item output. Which requires a standard chest. And it goes on the bottom. And then we need a tiny fluid input hatch. So this right here requires a seared tank. Okay, well we can pull that off. There's the tank and tiny fluid input hatch. Okay, so we got all the modular stuff done, and then we're also going to need 23 bee houses and 9 oak wood slabs. So let's get the bee houses first. And these actually aren't terribly expensive. At first when I saw that, I was like, you know, between episodes I was like, man, that's going to be expensive, but it's actually not that bad. Planks and slabs, and it's very, very possible I'll need more wood, but if so, that's fine. There's 38. That was the last of that flint saw that I had. And it's not crafting. Why is this doing this? Like, none of the stuff from... See, it seems like none of the stuff that takes, like, stage unlock is working, like, crafting-wise. Okay, so I was just looking at the, like, the GitHub, and apparently it's a common bug where, for whatever reason, anything that requires knowledge for you to be able to craft, it's not craftable, and it's not intended to be that way. It's not craftable until you get to like a Tinker's Construct crafting station, or, you know, some other crafting station. But the crafting tables don't work with it. And so what everyone suggested doing, if you're apparently you can get the crafting station if you go like a certain route through progression. You can get it before you start doing that knowledge stuff, I think. But what everybody suggested doing was actually just cheating one of these in until you get that knowledge unlocked, because you can't do any of this stuff. So I ended up just cheating that in, and I don't know. I'll throw down. I don't know what the actual cost is going to be. I'll throw down 4 pieces of wood, or I'll throw down 4 wood blocks. I guess that makes it fair. I don't know what it's going to end up taking, but I'll throw that down. So that way we can actually craft bee houses. I'm only going to use this for stuff like this that requires staged knowledge, because otherwise it seems to be uncraftable. So Hopefully that bug will be fixed in time, but as of right now it's not. So that's about the best way that we can do it. Alright, let me cut down a bit more wood, because I'm going to need a lot of wood for this. I love this hatchet. And your chopping blocks last a very, very long time. It seems like with this, because it doesn't take a bunch of hits to break this. So they seem to last a while. Oh, and that quest also requires that we get 9 oak wood slabs. So let me go ahead and just grab, like... I can't turn these back into slabs, can I? No, I don't think so. We'll go ahead and just convert this, because it seems like it has to be oak for it to register. There we go. And hopefully we've got enough. I made a bunch of slabs, so hopefully we got enough for the bee houses. Need a ton of these things. Okay, there is 23 of them. Okay. I made a little bit extra on slabs, but I think it'll be fine in the long run. Okay, quest complete. To be or not to be. And then we're supposed to get fairy dust, which we've already got. Okay, so what we're going to do, bee breeding. To be able to breed bees, I need something better than bee houses, some sort of apiary. I also need to pacify them with their own honey so that I can analyze them properly. Okay. Well, we're going to do the to be or not to be. This is still doing iron, yes. I'm going to try to keep this going while it's got heat. And just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this, let this chest fill up with stuff. And then copper I'll put down there. But once it fills up with stuff, then I'll just run a bunch of metals at the same time, like together. Because, I mean, we're building up on iron at a pretty decent rate here. And I think that'll be the best way to handle it. And then I can make a bunch more ore berries and stuff. Okay, so what we need to do is, there's actually a multi-block. If we take a look at the modular machinery, and I was actually kind of sad with this because there's only 2 blueprints in this pack. It seems like just the life infuser and bee attractor that are available. But what we need to get is the bee attractor. So this thing right here. And it is a monster. So let's go ahead, sneak to freeze the current preview to be able to preview it in world. Okay, so that's what we want to do. And I imagine this has to be put outside. Oh wait, I don't want that right there. But I'm just guessing that this has to be outside because normally like bees have got to go outside. So what we'll do is we'll just set it up like it's wanting to sink into the ground. Okay, I'm just going to do it in world, I guess. Yeah, I can't get it to raise, but that's fine. We're just going to build it out like this. It's pretty straightforward to build, actually. So the bee houses, we're going to go like this and just bring these out like that. And then we put the machine controller down. Then right through here, you'll notice it's rotating through a bunch of blocks. Basically, you can use modular machine pieces. You can use bee houses. You can pretty much use anything right in here. Apiaries are an option as well. And we need to put a tiny item input, a small item output, and a tiny fluid input hatch right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the tiny item input. We're going to have it setting like right here, I think. And then we'll do the, which I am going to have to build this ground out a little bit. We'll do the small item output setting right here. And then we'll do the tiny fluid input hatch setting right there. And then we'll just fill the rest of this in with bee houses. And then the top of this has to be all bee houses as well. And then slabs on the top. And that's really it. And you can see that these actually change colors, so they kind of blend in with the bee house blocks. And if we... So it has become basically a modular machine. And if you open up the machine controller, we do need to put a blueprint into here. It says structure found, bee attractor, status no matching, recipe found. So what we need to do is get our blueprint. And we'll open up our machine controller and drop that in. And you can see it says blueprint found, bee attractor. And there we go. So this is ready to go. And then what we're going to need to do, if we take a look at the, let's see, to get the bees. And then what we need to do is, over here in the roots room, I need to get some fairy dust. That's one of the items that we're going to need is fairy dust. And I do plan on having a better area eventually for bees, you know, and this bee house moved and stuff like that. But for right now, this will work. So we'll just put down some flowers around here, like that. And then the tiny item input, I'm going to go ahead and just put a hopper on this. I don't know necessarily if we need to automate it, because you can actually just open it up and put your fairy dust into there. Yeah, I guess I really don't. I think this is just a little bit overkill. We'll put that chest there. I can't remember if it'll auto-push out. I think it does, but it's been a little while since I've done modular machines. And then we've got the tiny fluid input hatch. This is where we need to put seed oil in. And seed oil, let's take a look and see how we're going to go about making that. So this right here. We can make it in the crucible. Throw seeds in there and we can make seed oil. So let's do that real quick. That's a good use for our crucible, actually. Let me grab a bunch of these seeds that we don't need. So industrial hemp seeds. These make... They make standard, okay. I was hoping they made more because, you know, normally industrial hemp actually makes quite a bit of seed oil with the immersive engineering stuff anyways. Rice seeds, we can use those, yes. And then we can also use beetroot seeds, yes. Okay, so we'll do beetroot, industrial hemp, and rice. I have a stack of each of those. Also regular vanilla, or wheat seeds, we use those as well. And I imagine this stuff probably changes over decently fast. Let's find out. Yeah, you can see it's actually making quite a bit. And go. You've got industrial hemp. Why are you not making? Okay, for whatever reason, it seems like it's stuck. Like it won't make any more seed oil. Unless it all has to be like the same seeds or something. What did I even throw in here first? It was rice seeds. Let me go gather up a little bit more rice. Which honestly, if I can only run one seed through here, rice is a great option because like you could turn rice into rice seeds and all that. Okay, it's eating the rice seeds. It does all have to be the same seed, which is interesting. Okay, so I've got exactly one bucket in there, which will be good. And then let's go ahead and bucket this up. What did I do with my bucket? Go ahead and grab that. It's actually a really fast method of making seed oil. It's just kind of a bummer that it doesn't take like more than one seed type. We'll just right click it onto there, and there we go. You can see it actually just consumes some of that seed oil. And if we give it a minute, we should actually start attracting bees. It's kind of what we're hoping to see. Yeah, there we go. We got a fairy queen and a hot queen, but it's not automatically outputting it. And I don't really have a hopper that I can put there. They're both pristine as well. Let's just put them into here. It's interesting that we're getting, let's see, hot queen, what does it produce? Produces simmering combs. Okay, and those are, yeah, we're just refractory wax and phosphor in this pack. Fairy queen is making fairy dust. That would be useful. That would be very, very useful. Of course, we do need drones in addition. And we just got an ash queen and another fairy queen. Ash Queen produces ash from Biomes of Plenty. That would be useful to get set up. Even though we have a lot of ash right now, there's a lot of uses for ash, though, at the same time. Okay, so... There's a Hot Queen. That's the one we just got, isn't it? Yeah. We'll just throw it into there. We're not getting any... Well, those are queens. Those aren't princesses. So, yeah, we can actually just set these up. And really, with the bee houses right here, we could just go ahead and throw them into there. Because that's why this is set up. It's kind of a bummer because you lose the bee houses in the middle. You don't have access to those. I could burrow underneath here. Well, it's got to see the sky, though. There's an ash queen. I'm going to let that finish running out the rest of that seed oil. Let's see. Apiaries. What does it take to make an apiary within this pack? Impregnated casings, which you can make them actually in the fluid block transformation. Seed oil plus a wood casing from actually additions makes impregnated casings, so we can make them that way, like pre-power. And really quick, let's go ahead and put down our rod casting table, and I'm gonna melt down 6 of these pieces of iron, I guess. Let me pop down there and see if there's any. I'm sure there's iron ore berries, so maybe we'll use those instead. I would like to get some rods so that we can start making some new strainers. Okay, so 3 of these ingots we're going to turn into rods. Let me get another piece of charcoal or 2. Okay, and that's going to make us, each ingot's worth makes 2 rods. So we're going to have enough to make a few strainers, because I'd like to go ahead and get these things going. We do have to make the dense nets first. and then upgrade them, that's fine. Okay, so we'll wait for that to run, and I would like to go ahead and get some more bee houses real quick. Alright, so let's make some bee houses, and I'm going to go ahead and cut down a few of these into slabs. I turned my slabs back into planks, because you can just, like, place them on top of each other and turn them back into planks. Then I regretted it, like, right after that. We'll go ahead and get a few of these. Because we're going to have to start with these, and then we'll move into apiaries, probably next episode, so that we can get that upgraded. But anyways, let's pop out here, and I actually got one new drone type. If you take a look at the blueprint, you can actually see all the possible bees that can come from it. So you can see there's fairy queens, wet queens, hot queens, and ash queens. And hot and wet seems like probably where we're going to have to start with once we get into breeding, because you breed those together and you get rock. 50% chance. But we'll get into that, like I said, probably next episode. I'd like to get a room set up for bees, but for right now this is going to be kind of a mess. That's fine. It'll be alright. We'll put down apiaries, or bee houses, like this, and then we'll put down some more, like this, there, stick one there. It's just going to be a bunch of bee houses everywhere. I'm going to work on a room, I promise, but for right now, this will be fine. What does the wet bee produce, anyways? Damp combs. Okay. Alright, and I'm assuming that we can't put these just into these bee houses. Yeah, no flowers and sky obstructed. Okay. Oh, it still says no flowers, though. Okay, there it goes. It just took it a second to update. It is running. Let's go ahead and get all of these running so that we can start producing, like, fairy dust and, you know, just some odd and end stuff like that, so that we got that stuff at least coming in. And, oh, nighttime on here, though, is so long. I mean, I can sleep through it, and that's fine. But I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, basically. But I want to keep, I mean, I could disassemble this, but I want to keep it there because we are going to need more queens as we go forward. So I think it would be better just to keep it up and going, you know. Alright, I've still got, these are leftovers that I don't need right this second, so I'm going to go ahead and just break these. Because like I said, I do plan on putting a room that's kind of open to the sky, and so we can run bees inside of there. It looks like some of these, like the ash queens, aren't registering any flowers. The hot queens are not registering flowers. And the wet queens are not registering any flowers. They may want cactus. Let me get, let me go get a piece of cactus real quick. And this stuff should be done, I imagine. Oh no, I let the temperature get down. Okay, let me throw more charcoal in there. I think maybe next episode we'll start getting into a little bit of power. And so we can start moving away from having to use coal for all of this. But let's go ahead and get ourselves some iron bars. And let's go ahead and make our strainers that we would need to make. So for the survivalist strainer, basically it's an upgraded net. And we can just use string for this now. So let's go ahead. We'll get two... Oh, whoops. We'll get two standard nets, and then we're going to get two dense nets as well. We didn't quite get a whole lot of Botania done this episode like I was planning on it, but we got to get gems up and going, which is saving, which we'll get into, but that's fine. We did get a lot of metals made, though, which is good. And it means I can expand my oreberry setups now. Alright, so let's get two of these, and then we're going to want two solid survivalist strainers. There we go. Two of each. And quest complete efficiency. Okay, and I don't think that that actually leads into any additional quests. I think it, yeah, it just stops right there. That's fine. And we'll get all four of our strainers up and going so that we can start producing the stuff from those. So we'll do, like at the left side, we'll do the solid strainers, and then the right side, we'll do the dense strainers. And these things do have a lot more uses when they're upgraded. I mean, it's 180 uses up to 1,440 uses. It's very, very good. It's going to be a little while before we start making those. And they should run a little bit faster because they do have higher efficiency as well. Okay, so now let me go get a piece of cactus, actually. And I'm hoping maybe cactus is what we need, what we're missing. If it's not, I'm not for sure. We'll have to figure it out. Okay, I'm going to put a piece of sand down, like right there. Throw the cactus down. Let's see if they update. Yeah, see, the cactus isn't running them. I don't know. I'm going to let the fairy ones run for a bit. I mean, they're producing honeycombs. And then we can get, I'm going to wait till next episode. We'll get a bee analyzer and start analyzing our bees. Actually, I could probably go ahead and make the portable analyzer, and we can see what flower types these bees want, because I don't have a clue in the slightest as to what flower they're wanting. So what we can do is we can take our honeycombs and just put them on the table here and crush them up into honey drops. And then to make the portable analyzer, it is 10 ingots. And that's, okay, that's done. Let's go ahead and grab our 10. And then we need 2 glass panes, and that's pretty much it. And then we can make the portable analyzer. So there's that. There we go. And then we're going to need another honey drop before we can scan anything. So let's go see if these have made any honey. There we go. Honeycomb. And, oh, not you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pop a honey drop into this, into that slot. And then let's scan the Ash Queen. So we'll just grab this out of here, and we're going to throw it into our portable analyzer, and it says, oh, it's got a flammable effect. It wants dead bushes. Okay. See, it's like weird stuff that it wants. And of course it's night again, but I can sleep. But to get the dead bush, we just need to put grass on drying rack, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me get a piece of bone meal real quick. And we'll just bone meal right over here. Bluebell. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get like 4 pieces. We'll go ahead and make 4 dead bushes so that we got them. Honestly, I'm thinking I should be able to probably finish out the ore berries maybe by next episode. Because, I mean, they honestly, they escalate extremely fast. Like, as the copper got built up, you know, I was getting so many copper ore berries that it was like I was just constantly making bushes until it was done, pretty much. Okay, so there's our dead bushes. I'm going to go ahead and just grab all of them. I only need 1 of them to get the bees up and going, but this will be fine. And let's go ahead and we'll just throw this down, like, right there. Oh, the bees are hurting me. That's no good. We got dangerous bees going here. That's weird, because, like, this bee's running. And the hot bees are running. Oh, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to have to get a room set up, or, oh, man, they hurt. What does it take to make the, the bee stuff, the apiarist? Woven silk. So it's going to be standard, which means we're going to have to get up to silk wisps, silky propolis, silky combs, which come from tropical exotic Edenic. I don't know. I don't think there's anything. Normally it's not that bad to get up to these, but I don't really see much that we can breed into right this second. Okay. Well, having these bees right outside the door isn't really the best place for them. But it looks like that bee has the flower that it needs. The wet one does. So I think the dead bush was all that was needed. But the hot ones, they're nocturnal. So I actually need to, like, once they finish running, I'm going to move them over to, like, over there or something. So they're not quite so close to the other bees. Because they have a flammable effect. And yeah, it's actually killing mobs that go by as well. And I went ahead and got even numbers on all these ingots. Basically what all we had from running all those ore berries. And then I got the fruits that go with them. So cherry with tin, coconut with iron, plum with lead, peach with silver, and lemon with gold. And this is actually the largest amount of ore berries I've crafted so far, like at the same time. So we'll go ahead and just throw those in there. There is 8 gold ore berry bushes. There's 10 silver. There's 12, what is that, lead. And then, I just want to do this on camera because this is actually kind of exciting for me, like getting all these ore berries. It really won't take very long to fill out the farm. I mean, we'll make the metal system a bit better once, probably, I'm thinking maybe our next episode, once we have power up and going. I wouldn't mind kind of making it even better, you know, from there, but for right now, this will be pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and lay all this out. I guess I'll just remove this and do that. So we've got, I only need 3 more iron ore berry bushes and this will be done. And then we need 10 more silver. I think we're going to need 10 more gold too. And lead and tin, we're actually not too far off on these either. Plus I have those metals coming in from the strainers now. I mean, I like having the ore berries because it's concise, you know, it's one metal type. But I'm not terribly fond about having the metals from the strainers too. You know, I don't focus on it anyways, and that's because I can kind of stack all these together and it works out nicely. But it won't take me very long. I'll just have to basically fire up the smelting again, and then get that going. So yeah, probably by next episode we'll probably have all the ore berries built out, which will be good, because it's not going to take very long to do that. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point. I know we took a while this episode to kind of go over the base, but you know, I had stuff to show you guys in the process, stuff that I figured out, like the fruit farming and stuff like that. So I know we didn't get as much done, but I did spend the whole weekend working on this, so I do apologize. Tomorrow will be SevTech, so it'll just kind of be reversed schedule this week. So we'll do Exoria, then SevTech, and then repeat. Okay, it's actually been a little bit. I did move the hopper over to this side. I just want to show you this really quick. Move the hopper over to this side of the crucible and put a chest up here, just so that we could store up more metals into this. And I've actually got, I mean, this is about filled, right? There's a ton of stuff in here. This right here, this is how much charcoal and ash is produced with a single run of this with the ash bricks. So it was, you know, 75 wood piles. It's kind of expensive, but it does go pretty far. And I'm just going to throw a stack in there and let it all start pumping out as ingots. So, I mean, that's going to make a decent amount of metal. Let's see, I'll be able to finish out the last of our ore berries and then have a bunch of metals left over, and then I'll keep running them between episodes. And it's fairly easy to gather up wood for all the charcoal for the wood piles, because you can just kind of just go through here and just clear it out. So, but anyways, next episode, we are going to get into casting channels a little bit. We are also going to get our apiaries up and going, and we're going to automate, because you can't automate bee houses. They don't work with pipes and stuff like that, so we're going to move into apiaries. We're going to start automating bees and breeding a little bit of bees. And then we'll also probably, let's see, we'll do the casting channel. We'll get into automation stuff a little bit. Maybe get the sluice up, sluice juice, and maybe into grinding my gears, I think. And then I would also like to get into sieving. So next episode, we won't have such a long like base tour to go through. Also, I did move the fire bees over there, so they're kind of out of the way, so they're not going to be killing me as soon as I walk out the door. So, and I've been running these a little bit, running these bees a bit as well. So we're kind of building up on honeycombs. I've actually got 6 honey drops in there. So, but I'll keep running those so that we kind of build up on honey, and the next episode we can get into breeding pretty heavily and stuff like that. And I want to fix our metals up a bit more, and I'm not for sure. Oh, I did find out, and this is what we're going to use for the ore processing system. The fluid pipes, the ones that sort, are actually silver and not diamond. They're normally diamond, you know, that they require, but they're silver in this pack. So we can actually do like sorting fluid pipes and stuff like that. So we're going to use that over here to make a little bit better of a fluid system, so that we don't necessarily have to throw in exact like amounts, like, you know, it doesn't have to be 9 of something so that it makes an ingot on the spot. We're going to make it so that it just basically all the fluids get sorted. So lead will have a place, silver will have a place, iron will have a place, and so on. And I'm not for sure about the drawers. If you can make drawer controllers, they require diamond. Okay, and redstone. So still a little bit away from that. And compacting drawers, yeah, we're going to have to get into, I think, grinding my gears before we can do that. But compacting drawers would be kind of nice. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And if you guys have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comments, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And yeah, next episode we'll get a bunch more done, so it'll be good. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.